Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Grace and today I'm sharing my dream list of sweaters and cardigans that I would love to knit. Now I should preface this by saying I'm a crochet designer behind stitchfairyblog.com where I share a ton of free crochet patterns that are simple, feminine, and cozy. And I would say probably like 70 to 80% of the content that I post here on YouTube is crochet related with some knitting sprinkled in. And so while most of what I crochet is related to my job, related to designing, things like that, I really love knitting because for me it is strictly a hobby. I don't feel pressure to get photos or video of my projects. Half of the knitting projects that I make I don't even get around to sharing online just because it's a hobby and I enjoy making it and I don't feel the pressure with knitting like I do with crochet. So it's a really great outlet for me to still be involved in my fiber and making projects, but it doesn't feel the same as crochet does because for me crochet is work and I still love it, but knitting is just a different creative outlet for me that doesn't have the pressures of crochet. As well as obviously there are different characteristics between knitting and crocheting. Fabrics are so much different in knitting than they are in crochet. I personally love most knitted garments better than crochet. There are some beautiful crochet garments and I've even made crochet garments that I love and that I wear, but there's just something about a knitted fabric in a garment that is just, in my opinion, a little bit different than in crochet. So today I thought it'd be really fun to share my dream list of sweaters and cardigans that I would love to knit. These sweaters have been on my list forever and I honestly probably will not get around to making all of these in my lifetime, but that is okay. It is fun to dream and I feel so inspired by these projects and I really wanted to share them with you. So I don't know exactly how many I have, maybe like between 12 and 15 different patterns for sweaters and cardigans. You'll see I have a very distinct style, but I think I have like 3 sweaters by the same designer, which maybe not be that diverse in sharing different designers. Sorry, that is the timer for my chicken buffalo dip that is currently in the oven. So I may not be highlighting a super diverse list in designers, but truly these are the patterns that I feel most inspired by. So I thought I would just share them anyways. And before I get into the patterns, I should quickly highlight the Moby sweater vest. This is a pattern by Petite Knit that I knit last winter. It was like a little Christmas project and it is so beautiful. I love it so much. I'm definitely a textured knitter. I'm not a huge fan of stripes and I really haven't knit much color work, but I love texture. This is how I love adding a lot of interest into my patterns. This was a really fun pattern to knit. I love it. It is so cozy and I will also make sure to link this one down below as an option. I know she also has a sweater option if you don't like the sweater vest look, but I think it is so cute and so cozy. So with that, let's go ahead and dive in to my dream list of sweaters and cardigans that I would love to knit. Okay, so I organized the list so all of the sweaters are first and then I will share the cardigans that I have on my list. But the first sweater that I would love to knit, and hopefully I can cast this on in the next year or so, is the Seaway pullover by Ozetta. When she first posted like a sneak peek of this pattern on Instagram a couple years ago, like I knew I had to knit this. I love that it has this really subtle texture to it with the cables. It doesn't highlight the cables like this pattern does, and it's just a more subtle way of adding texture and interest into the cardigan, and I think it would be so much fun to knit. This pattern uses DK weight yarn and I think I kind of want to knit this in like a minty muted green color or like a sea moss green, something muted but something that has color. I think would be really beautiful in this. Of course I feel like any color would be pretty in this sweater, but this one is one that is very high on the list because I've had my eye on it for so long and I feel like it'd be a relatively mindless pattern to knit and I think it would just be a beautiful sweater to have in my wardrobe. I don't think a knitting list would be complete without a Petite Knit pattern on the list, and I am swooning over the Dagmar zipper sweater. She has several patterns in this Dagmar collection. I believe she has like a jacket cardigan as well as a slipover, but I feel like the zipper just adds this really unique touch to the cardigan, and I love it so much. Like I said, I love my textures, and I feel like this sweater would just be so beautiful. I don't know what color I would knit it in. Probably a similar color to the one that she has. I really love this cool brown gray color. Do I have any plans on knitting this anytime soon? Probably not. It would be a more time consuming and more, it would just take more brain power, honestly, than I have right now. And I feel like there are just some other sweaters on this list that I would rather knit first, but I'm definitely keeping this one on the list for long term. I would eventually love to knit this. Another pattern that I've had my eye on by Ozetta is the clay sweater. I love how it's stripes but through texture. I feel like this would be a relatively mindless pattern because you're not doing all the cables and eyelets. It's just knitting and purling, but I feel like the purl stripes just add a really nice texture to it. And so I feel like this one would be one that I would do sooner rather than later, just because it would be a little bit more simple and mindless. This is another one that ever since she released it, I was like, I need to knit this. And I think I would also like to do a brown like she did for her sample, or maybe some sort of burnt orange auburn. I feel like would also be really pretty, but I've just been in my brown era. I feel like it's just such a cozy, calming color, so I probably want to stick with around a similar color that she used for her sweater. And this is also a DK weight sweater, so I feel like it would also work up relatively quickly, which is always a plus. And for a little bit of a different sweater from the bulkier textured ones that are most of the ones that are on this list is the ballerina wrap. I love anything girly, feminine, and while I love being cozy, I love feeling feminine, cute, and put together. And I've really been wanting to knit about this wrap cardigan sweater. This is actually technically a cardigan because of the wrap, but my brain processes it as a sweater in my opinion. But I would love to do it in a really beautiful soft ballerina pink. I feel like would be so gorgeous. And I feel like this would be a relatively simple pattern to knit. I mean, it's literally just stockinette, and then I feel like the most complicated part would be the shaping, but I'm pretty familiar with increasing, decreasing, things like that, so I feel like it wouldn't be too complicated of a pattern to knit. And I feel like this paired with a really cute skirt or even some high-waisted jeans would be such a cute outfit. And one of the few colorwork patterns that are on this list is the porcelain sweater. You've probably already seen this sweater everywhere. It has gone viral, and I'm not as drawn to colorwork as I am to texture. I do really love it, but I don't know, I also like haven't done that much colorwork in my life, so I really don't have much room to talk. But this is one of the few colorwork sweaters that I'm like, I need this in my wardrobe so badly. This is another one that has been on my list for a couple years, and I really hope I can get around to knitting it, or at least starting it in the next year or so, because I've just been thinking about this sweater nonstop, literally for months. I feel like I probably want to stick with the same color palette that the designer did, which is Lean It. You'll see some more of her patterns on this list because I love her designs, but I really love the blue with some sort of neutral cream gray color. I think it is just so beautiful and so classic. You really couldn't go wrong with really any color. Like, I feel like a really nice dark green or a maroon red color would also be really beautiful, but I really love how the blue looks in the sweater, and kind of just knowing what other colors I'm drawn to for other sweaters that are in my wardrobe. Like I said, mostly like neutrals and the browns. I feel like having a little pop of blue through this sweater would be really, really nice. And for this pattern, you do use lace and fingering weight yarn held double to create a DK weight yarn. And probably the most simplistic sweater that I have on this list is the 1031 sweater by Ozetta. Again, another Ozetta pattern. What can I say? I love her as a designer. I feel like she creates such timeless pieces, but I really wanted to include a simplistic sweater on this list because I haven't knit one, and so obviously I would really like to just have a more staple stockinette sweater in my wardrobe. And the reason why I specifically chose this one was because some of the details, I love the split hem of this one as well as the drop shoulder, and I don't know, have always been more drawn to this one and just how it lays and how it looks more than other simple stockinette sweater patterns. This is a bulky weight pattern, which honestly I don't know if I would want to knit this in bulky weight. I might play around with maybe going down to worsted weight and going up a couple sizes to accommodate for that. I just feel like a bulky weight would just be so warm, like too warm for me personally, so I might have to experiment with that. But other than that, I feel like this would be a really, really nice staple to have in my wardrobe. Again, are we shocked? I probably would want to do around the same color, like some sort of simplistic brown like this. Maybe this is another reason why I chose this specific sweater, or really any other sweaters on this list, is I'm often drawn to the color that the specific designer used, which I'm sure a lot of people do. And I do have ideas of like different colors and things I would use for certain patterns, but a lot of them, like, I'm inspired by the color along with the design, which is probably why I'm drawn to certain patterns on this list. I don't know if that makes sense, but 1031 sweater by Ozetta, would really love to knit this. I think because it is a more simplistic pattern, I would be more tempted to knit this sooner because it'd be a really great mindless pattern to have. And for the last sweater on this list, and also another colorwork sweater, is the Rosy sweater by Lee Knit. I'm so picky when it comes to colorwork, and I love how this one looks so much. Like, I would eventually love to do some sort of yoke colorwork sweater. I just haven't found one that I love, but something about this one, it looks so cozy, but because of the roses and the viney design, I feel like that just fits into my personal style of just being more girly and feminine. This would be a really lovely addition to my hand knit wardrobe just because it does have that different vibe and style to it. And like with the porcelain sweater, this does use lace and fingering weight held double to create a DK weight gauge. And as far as colors that I would like to knit with this, I really want to do like a cream with some sort of mauve pink, like a very muted pink, nothing too bright, but I feel like just a really lovely mauve would be so beautiful and would pair really, really nicely with the rose design. And that is all of these sweaters on my list. So now we can move into the cardigans. And this first cardigan, I love it so much. It is the Daft Days cardigan by Rebecca Clow. And if you haven't noticed, I have my laptop with all of the patterns on it, so if I'm looking down, that is why. And after talking crap about sweaters this entire video, I'm sharing a striped pattern with you guys, and this is, I think, the only one on the list. And the reason being, I really love the thin stripes, and I feel like this would be a really beautiful statement piece, something a little bit more dressy and a little bit more classy. Like, I could see this paired really, really nicely with some dark wash jeans. I would really want this to be a more elevated, dressy pattern. And I would also probably do something a little bit more subtle when it comes to the stripes. So instead of doing a really stark contrast between like black and white, I might do more of a brown and a tan, or two different colors of pink, like a darker pink and then a little bit of a lighter one, just to create some contrast in the design, but keep it more subtle. I feel like for me, that is what I would do to tone it down a little bit. Although I do love her black and white version, I think it is very striking and it really stands out as this statement piece. I love the buttons going all the way up, as well as even like these gold buttons. Again, I feel like it really elevates it, and it is so beautiful. Like, oh my gosh, I actually kind of forgot this was on the list until I pulled up the link for it. And this pattern uses DK weight yarn. Okay, I promise this is the last Ozetta pattern on the list, but I love the port sweater. I feel like it is a really nice, simplistic cardigan that, again, when I was curating this list and really compiling all of these separate patterns that I've had my eye on for a really long time, one of the gaps that I had in this dream wardrobe of hand knit sweaters is a more simplistic cardigan. And so I was really drawn to this one because it is still a little bit oversized, but it looks really effortless to wear. I love the detail along the shoulder. I feel like that just adds a little something to it that really makes it stand out as a pattern. And as far as a color, I don't really know what I would knit this in. I really love the yellow that she chose. I think it is really beautiful and really delicate, but I haven't decided on a color for this yet. And again, I think that will come with time as I knit other pieces that are maybe a little bit higher on the list. I will work on, you know, figuring out maybe a color that I'm drawn to at that time or that I would like in my wardrobe. And this pattern uses lace and fingering weight yarn held double to create a DK weight gauge. Okay, I did not know if I should put the Leopold pattern by Tricot Design. I totally butchered that and I'm so sorry. I did not know if I should put that in the sweater category or the cardigan category, because in this pattern they do have a slipover version that has a 3/4 like button detail at the top, and there is a lovely cardigan version, and I do not know which one I would like to knit, but I would love to knit a variation of this pattern eventually because I love the texture of it. I feel like it's a little bit different from, you know, like cables and this type of texture, and it is just really lovely. And like I said, I'm undecided on what version I should knit. Let me know which one you like better. And as far as like colors for this, again, undecided. I feel like it kind of depends on which one I'm knitting, if I'm knitting like the pullover or if I'm knitting the cardigan version. I don't know. I really love this bright red color, honestly, that she did for the cardigan, but we'll see, to be determined. And this pattern does use DK weight yarn. And for a more textured cardigan, the jacket number 1 by My Favorite Things Knitwear really stood out to me. I love this cardigan so much. I'm currently working on one of her other patterns right now, the sweater number 27, I believe, which is a textured sweater. And so I really love her patterns, and I feel like this would be a really beautiful addition to the wardrobe, especially because the other cardigans that I have picked right now, the buttons go all the way up. So I like that this one, it kind of stops midway for a little bit of a different style. And like I said, I really enjoy texture knitting, and I really love texture knitting, but specifically ones that are more mindless and repetitive. So like this one would probably be like a 10-16 row repeat that I've learned can be really easy to memorize, and so it makes obviously the pattern more enjoyable. As far as colors, I kind of am thinking like a cream color would be really lovely. I don't know if I can trust myself with a cream colored cardigan, but I know it'd be something that I wear a lot and that would go with literally everything in my wardrobe. So we'll see. Of course, I love the brown that she used for this, but I think cream with this texture would be really lovely. And this uses lace and Aran weight yarn to create an Aran weight gauge. This is another pattern that I will not be able to pronounce by Tricot Designs, but it is the Farandole cardigan. Oh my gosh, this cardigan is so beautiful. I've not seen many patterns like this on Ravelry or like on my social media, and so when I saw this, my jaw dropped. I love the beautiful like scalloped ruffle detail going down the side. I think it is the perfect statement piece for any wardrobe, especially like my style. I love that it has a little bit more of a vintage vibe to it. I feel like would really be a unique cardigan to have and to wear. As far as colors, I think I would want to go more delicate with this and choose some sort of light pastel color, whether that be a yellow, blue, green, pink, I don't know. Like, I think because this is a statement piece, I want it to be in an actual color instead of a neutral, if that makes sense. And I think because to me this is more dreamsy, whimsical, vintage, I want it to be paired with the pastel. Like maybe a really pretty buttery yellow I think would be so beautiful in this cardigan. I love it so much. It uses fingering and lace weight yarn held double to create a DK weight gauge. I'm just so obsessed with this. I think this would be a really lovely spring knit. And that is all of the patterns that I have to share with you today. Hopefully this may have given you a little bit of inspiration for your dream knit wardrobe. I'm feeling so inspired right now. I really want to finish my current sweater that I'm knitting just so I can start on this list, because literally every single one of these patterns is so inspiring to me and I'm obsessed with all of them. Please let me know which one is your favorite down below, and if you are planning on making any of these, or share some patterns that are also on your dream knit list down below. I would love to hear them and be inspired by patterns that you're knitting or have knit or want to knit. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this left you feeling inspired, and I hope you all have a lovely and cozy day.